Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. If you haven't liked or subscribed, go ahead and do it right now. Today I am super excited about sharing this story with you. You've probably already seen it on my Instagram that a few months ago I went skydiving. It was the craziest thing ever, but seriously, probably the best day of my life and best experience of my life. And I know I say the best day of my life a lot, but there's just a bubble of best days of my life, and that was definitely in the bubble because it was the ultimate fear conquering experience. And you know me, fearless is the motto of the year. It's been the motto of the past 2 years. I'm just trying to run into the places that always seem so scary. I feel like that's what true boldness is. It's actually staring in the face of the things that were always so scary to you, but knowing that it stands no threat against you. And it's so cool to see that boldness rise up time and time again. And skydiving was the perfect picture of that. I woke up that day, and I don't know if you guys have heard Live Like You're Dying. It's an old song, Tim McGraw, but it's one of my favorites, and I haven't listened to it in a long time, but when we were on our way there, we were we have to listen to that song because one of the things in it is they went skydiving in the midst of living like they were dying. And I don't think I ever really thought about what it means to live like you're dying until the day that I was going skydiving. And for some reason, it was such an amazing day. Even at 6 in the morning, I was wide awake. I didn't even need my coffee yet, but you better believe I got coffee. But I didn't even need it. I was so awake, and I was so excited about life. And everybody I saw that day, I was good morning, how are you? Are you having a good day? And I was so stoked just because I think that I already had in my mind that I was gonna do the scariest thing that life could offer that day, and so I wasn't thinking about anything fearful. I was truly just living life in the most epic freedom I've ever experienced. And I noticed all the details of my life that I kind of overlook. I was thinking maybe that's what it means to live like you're dying, to really notice and fully live your life. And so I get there that day, and I actually thought that I was going to be skydiving alone, which, how terrifying. Okay, it's one thing to skydive with all your friends, making a funny decision, but it's another thing to jump out of the sky by yourself. So I thought I was going to be skydiving alone. So all my friends were no, we're not doing that, we're not doing that. And then I was no guys, please do it, please do it. I tried to convince them the whole way, and I couldn't do it until I found this YouTube video of Will Smith talking about skydiving. And they all watched it, and they were all oh my gosh, we're gonna do it. So I don't really know if that says I'm a bad speaker or Will Smith is just Will Smith. But I'm gonna go with Will Smith is Will Smith. And he convinced everybody in the car to do it. So we get there, and I knew all my friends were doing it. And then to top it all off, none other than my mother and my sister Rebecca and my sister-in-law Mary Kate show up and surprise me. And my mom's guess what? I'm jumping with you. I cried so much, and I was writing about it later that day because my mom had literally been there through every single panic attack phone call, all my epic anxiety attacks and fearful 3 years of my life. And then for her to be there when I was truly laughing and conquering fear and living in the most free state that I've ever been in, it was so amazing. Talk about somebody that sticks by your side. So my mom and I went up together, and it's so crazy because you're attached to these strangers, and it's kind of awkward because you're kind of sitting on their lap and you're hi. But for some reason it's not weird at all because every trust that you could possibly have in life for anyone is in that stranger that you just met, because you have no control in this situation of skydiving. Literally zero control, which I think actually has to do with everything of why it's not scary, because a lot of our fears come from our control. And when you have no control in a situation, you have to surrender that to God or to whoever else is in the situation. It's you have no reason to fear. And so he had all the job. He had to pull the chute. I just had to jump. And it was crazy. So we were going up on the plane. It's me and my mom and these two guys, and it was just so funny because the whole time they were trying to scare us and trying to throw out all these things, but I was so in another place. I was just in the most worship filled moment ever, because I realized in this moment that this is something that I could not do without Jesus. In my past life, when I was a slave to fear, I would never do this. And even if I did do it, I wouldn't have fun at all. I would be so afraid. But in him, I can do this, and I can have so much fun with it. And I realized in that moment that there is so much adventure in life for us that we get to do when we're not afraid. And there's so many adventures on the other side of fear that are waiting for you in life to experience. And then right when we're like up there and we're about to jump, we're like scooting up to the edge, and you look over, and like Will Smith says it in his video, it's like you're looking over at death. In that moment, you kind of look over and you only have like a second to look, and then you start to fall. And it is like the most fully alive feeling that you could possibly feel in your life. It's like you're above everything in the world. Like any fear man could throw at you, you're actually above it all. You are like flying above the birds. You're flying through the clouds. And like for some reason, it's like not scary at all. Like it's like so cool. And then the minute he pulled the chute, it literally felt like God was like, why would you ever be afraid? Like, I got you. Why would you ever be afraid? And then in that moment, after the chute's pulled, you just kind of float down, and you're just floating, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. You actually can probably hear me with the clip right now. I was like, it's so beautiful. It was just so overwhelming, and I just kept saying, Jesus, this is freedom, this is fearless, because it was like so overwhelming to see what freedom looks like, and it was amazing. So anyways, of course we land, and I've never been so excited in my life, and then my friends jumped in like the equal amount of excitement for them that they were experiencing this. And all in all, it was just a solid day. It showed what unity looks like, what freedom looks like, what it means to be bold, what it means to be fearless, what it looks like to do something that you could only do in Jesus, what adventure, what life, what that all looks like. And so I guess, if anything, of this whole entire message, I learned a lot of things. And I really think that I realized that if that's what it looks like to live like you're dying, that I never want to forget that feeling, because that was the most full of life I've ever felt. And I promise you, it's going to seem so hard, but every place in your life that there's maybe a sense of fear, I want you to look at it straight in the face, be bold, and recognize and understand that God is going to fight that battle for you. All you have to do is be still and know that He's God and He's got you. And in Him, you have no reason to fear, because He has given you a spirit of power, okay? And there is nothing that can stand a threat against how great He is. So run to it. And when you do run to it, you're going to start noticing that the very place fear is in your life, their fear is going to be conquered. And time again, when you do this, there's going to be such a confident trust that is gained in the Lord that you are going to be living a life of freedom you never thought you could experience. I hope this video means something to you, and I hope you realize today that there is so much waiting for you on the other side of fear. So everybody go run in boldness and freedom and fearless this week. Love y'all.